It's gonna be tough.
We're not live. Yeah,
We were. No.
You're trying to hit that sprint to the finish and keep everybody in the right mindset. And tough week last week for us on the road after coming off such a good week at home, and just making sure that we, get everybody refocused, get back to some of the, little habits that we focus on all the time of blocking out and defending the ball and keeping it in front of us. And,
Sure.
just executing the things properly offensively. So it's Monday and it's a busy day. I've had about 4 meetings already, so we're rolling and ready to get after it.
Well, Coach, I know, like you said, the result of this past week was not what we were hoping for. It was 2 tough road games out at Kennesaw, which is a newcomer to Conference USA, suburb of Atlanta. I'm learning so much about geography the more that as the years go by, being in this conference. And so on Thursday night, took on a Kennesaw State team. We had a lead in the fourth quarter, Coach. Unfortunately, we're not able to close out that one. Just your overall thoughts on last Thursday's game, and then we'll touch on Saturday as well.
Yeah, I thought we talked about last week, but in order for this group to win on the road, you've got to defend, you've got to rebound, you've got to take care of the basketball. And we finally took care of the basketball, only had 13 turnovers. I didn't think we were great offensively, but we still scored 72. And
on the road.
Yeah,
right.
on the road, and I think that's enough to win. We didn't rebound the basketball the way we were capable of, and gave too many second chance opportunities, had 2 offensive free throw rebounds that we gave up. One was at a critical time, in a 1 possession game with about 48 seconds left. And, you just can't do those things. I thought we got 1 of the 3, defend, rebound, and take care of the basketball. I thought we got 1 of the 3. And in order to win on the road, you've got to be able to do that, and you've got to get, you got to get all 3. And we weren't able to do that, and it's frustrating because I felt like we had plenty of opportunities to have a lead in the fourth quarter, start the fourth quarter, and
Right.
Just didn't see that same togetherness and cohesiveness that we did last week in 2 big wins against Liberty and FIU, and it's disappointing. But you got to be able to turn the page and have a quick regroup on a short turnaround and get ready to go for Saturday at Jacksonville State. And obviously we didn't get the response we were looking for on Saturday. Got off to a tough start offensively, missed a number of easy shots. But it's when that stuff happens, you've got to find a way to get to the free throw line. You got to find a way to get stops. And I think it was 5 or 2-0. We held them to 2 points the first 3.5 minutes of the game. It wasn't like we were giving up points. And but you just got to find a way. Even after a tough first quarter, I mean, it's a 10-point game, and we dug ourselves a little bit of a hole there and just never really responded.
Coach, I know we're not in the excuses game, but I know that just for context, I mean, you get into the meat of a conference season like this. I mean, it's like in the non-conference, like it's not quite as consistent. Like you might play a game and then have maybe 4 or 5 days off. There were some periods where we had well over a week in between games. When you get into the grind of conference play, you're talking, I mean, you got to get ready for every Thursday, every Saturday, no matter what. And when you have a young team the way that we do, like they haven't learned the rhythm the same way that, like, you got Robin Lee, she understands.
Yeah.
But like some of the younger kids just don't, like they're still learning on the fly.
Yeah, I think, but I also think it's basketball, and these kids are used to playing a lot of games. The difference is for us, it's you can't just go, oh, well, we get 5 more, or we get 2 more next week. You've got to understand the importance, and we try to stress that every week, every day. Of the thing with last week is we're trying to. We got a chance to move up to third. You're fighting for positioning, and every game counts, and every game matters. And you can't have this mindset, oh, we're on the road, we'll just win our home games. No, we're trying to win as many as we can. You got to lose yourself in competition and lose yourself in competing daily. And, this group hasn't been able to figure that out. We've got to try as a staff to continue to, we've tried just about everything, and we'll continue to look to find ways to find some consistency in those areas. But that's just kind of been the case, and we've got to do a great job of making sure that we come back today and we're locked in and ready to move forward and focus in on the things that we can do in order to win 2 games this week.
That final score: Kennesaw State 79, Tech 72 on Thursday. Looking at Saturday's game, one of the neat storylines heading into the Jacksonville State game. Robin Lee, our 5th-year senior graduate, she had 998 points coming into Saturday, and she is now the 45th member of a very prestigious club in women's college basketball. 1,000 points is a lady texture for her career. So big congratulations to her. She would trade that for the win in a heartbeat, but that was something that leads to a good positive from Saturday.
Yeah, we stopped on the way home, and I gave her a hug in the parking lot, and I just said, really proud of you. I knew that, wasn't the outcome that we wanted today, but, a big milestone for you, and obviously very proud of her and her resilience and just her toughness. She's playing through, the nose issue, and just has shown great toughness and just continue to work every single day. She's shown up, and you know what you're going to get from her. You're going to get maximum effort, and that's a big deal. And I think she just wants to win, but it's something we'll celebrate with her, and we'll give her a home one of the next couple of home games and make sure that she's honored for that. But it's a big deal, and it takes a lot of effort that goes into that, and really, really proud of her as an individual.
And she's been fun to be around.
Yeah,
I mean, she was this is my 4th year, and she was a freshman coming in. One of the things that I love about her so much, she stopped me on Saturday after the game was over with, and of course she feels dejected for not being able to win. And she looked at me, she said, "You know what we need? I need you to bring Penny on the road, because we don't lose when Penny's with us." I know, right? And I said, I should have thought of that
dang it,
sooner.
I'm buying Penny a plane ticket out of my own pocket. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right.
Robert's kids are undefeated on the road, but but for her to have that connection, that just means so much. And Robin is Penny's favorite player too.
Well, and Cooper wears her hoodie to every game, and and I think, we say this often as parents, but a lot of times young kids are the greatest tell. They can tell, they have a heart and a sense to be able to pick up who's genuine and who, Robin has a great heart. And, you can see that. And, I've got a picture, her little avatar on her contact on my phone is a picture of the two of us. And it's one of the most genuine moments. So, at her stole ceremony, and someone snapped one, and we're hugging, and it's a great picture. But it's who she is, and she's just got a great heart, and she cares for others well. She loves others well. She's very selfless. She's constantly thinking about others and trying to, find a way to help others, and you love that about her. And I think kids are great indicators of that. They can pick up on those things, and
kids and dogs, they can sniff character out really fast.
I don't know about dogs.
Maybe not. Yeah.
I feel like I know kids.
Well, Coach, again on Saturday, Jacksonville State, that was the biggest highlight, was Robin getting into that 1,000-point club.
That might have been the only highlight.
Well, it was really hard to make a basket, to be honest with you. I mean, I think at one point we were 3 of 22. It just felt like there was a lid on the rim.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to the opening possession of the game, and we get the tip, we go down, we get exactly, talk about how their ball screen coverage, how they're going to defend. We get Paris drops one off beautifully, and Jordan misses an open layup, and I just felt like that was how the whole first half went. And, when you have those moments, it's like, okay, guys, we've missed a lot of shots. We have one offensive rebound. Find a way to go get an offensive rebound. Find a way to get yourself to the free throw line. And we just weren't able to do that. And that's where, tough teams, in order to win on the road, or in order to win, period, you've got to be able to do that, and we weren't able to do that. And we trotted out a number of people. Everybody played on Saturday. We tried multiple people, and just couldn't find anything. And I think that, and it felt like even when we got it to 13 to whatever it was there, we'd make a little run and we'd give up through. And we just didn't look connected. We didn't look like the cohesive unit we were the week before, and that's frustrating. You try to, as a coach and a coaching staff, you try to analyze that. You try to figure out, we've switched roommates, we've changed food, we've done, changed routines, we've been consistent, trying to find something that works. And at some point you got to show up and play. You got to show up and defend. You got to show up and rebound. You got to show up and take care of the ball, and you got to play with maximum effort on every single possession. And I didn't think we got that from the group. And that may sound harsh, but at some point you have to look at yourself in the mirror. We have to acknowledge it, and we have to change behavior. Yeah.
Well, and one of the things from the box score and I think I said this on the air Saturday too. we did come out with a better intensity in the second half than from the first, and I would have told you that we won the third quarter, but when you look down, Jacksonville State had somehow still outscored us, and that was I think I can only imagine as a coach and as a staff, but that even for me as the radio guy, I was like, God, it feels like we're playing better, but just anytime we would be doing anything good, they would answer.
Well, my thing is we talked about at halftime what we want to do offensively, and talked about how they were defending. We even showed some clips and showed this is what we should be looking for. We get possession to start the second half, and we come out and they're backed up guarding our reversal post at the free throw line, and we're trying to throw it in. There's no reversal, no second, third side of the floor. Don't make them defend, so it's turnover. Come down. We're not posting up hard. We try to make a post entry pass. So you start the second half with 2 consecutive turnovers, and it's just like, come on, guys. At some point, your concentration and your focus has to be there. And then we've got to have somebody that steps up and says, enough, let's go. And, I challenged G at halftime, and I thought she attacked a little bit better there in the second half. But we need her to be aggressive. We need her to be aggressive offensively. We need her to set the tone defensively. And because she's done that, and she's shown that she's capable of doing that. And that's what this young group needs. And, we've got to have people respond to that. But we got to start that way.
Well, putting a bow on that from the last week and just kind of putting that in the past, now we look forward. We have 2 home games this week, thankfully. We're back here. The competition is going to be very stout. Middle Tennessee Thursday night, Western Kentucky on Saturday. And obviously, Coach, the hope is that they felt this past weekend, and they're making those adjustments and getting ready for this week.
Yeah, and I think they will. I mean, this group has typically responded well. I would have hoped that we responded better on Saturday from Thursday night's game, and we didn't. And but it's a new week and it's a new day, and I think in this era of what we do, you got to show up and you got to teach and you got to correct and you got to acknowledge and change behavior and encourage and be ready to go. And we've got to, I felt like, you go back to both of those games. We're in a 7-point game in the fourth quarter at Middle, and didn't think we played that well, and missed 2 free throws to cut into, or we're in a 9-point game, missed 2 free throws, go down, get a stop, come down and miss a point blank wide open layup, easiest shot we had all day. You're in a 5-point game with 4.5 minutes to go, and we don't. And and then you're at Western Kentucky and you've got the ball with 2:32 to go, down 3, and after having 21 turnovers, I thought, we hung in there and battled and in a tough place to play. And so they know that they can compete. And I said it last week, this group believes they can beat anybody in this team when we show up and compete together. And then when we don't, we can also lose to anybody in this league. But I think that can be said across the board. And I think we saw that across college basketball yesterday.
Yep.
And it's just the importance of consistency. And I think this is a hard thing for us as humans and us as adults, is sometimes it's really hard to show up and do the mundane things over and over and over repeatedly. But when you do those things, success comes from that. And it may not be glamorous and it may not be, Insta-worthy or whatever. It's not hyped up, but that's what wins.
Right.
And, when we can get this group to do that, they're pretty special. And I think they believe they can beat anybody. And we know that. I think they understand that. They've heard that from us. They've experienced it themselves. But we've got to show up and bring it, and it starts, today at practice.
And we've seen how this team feeds off of a good crowd in the Thomas Assembly Center when the students are here, when the fans come. And so the call to action for us is to be here Thursday and Saturday.
Absolutely. I know the men have had some great crowds, and we've had some good crowds, but I think we can do better. And we need people out there. They played really, trying to maintain that perfect record at home, and understand that we need people in those stands, and we need to be loud, and we need to make this a great environment on Thursday night. And on Saturday afternoon.
That'll be Middle Tennessee Thursday at 6:30, and then Saturday will be at 3 o'clock taking on Western Kentucky. So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Coach, I'd like to talk with you about a couple of early signees that we had for this squad. Maybe even get your overall thoughts, if we have time, on just college basketball recruiting and exciting kids in the era that we live in right now. And so, again, we want to remind everybody to make your game day epic with Pepsi. You can sip on a nice cold Pepsi while you cheer on the Bulldogs and Lady Texers this season. You can do it right here in the Student Center, should you choose. The official soft drink of Tech Athletics is Pepsi. We'll be back with more of Inside Tech Basketball with head coach Brooke Storr. After this is Inside Tech Basketball on the Live Tech Sports Network from Learfield.
Ball championships are coming back to Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, goodness! The lob at the other end and the flush.
Don't miss your opportunity to witness one of the most competitive basketball tournaments in the country from March 11th through the 15th at Probst Arena.
That was big time. And dunks it down.
Tickets are on sale now at conferenceusa.com/RocketCityHoops.
Dogs. Now, how did these beautiful creatures become man's best friend? Well, easy. They're funny, entertaining, energetic, determined, right, regal, friendly, and above all else, dogs are loyal. Louisiana Tech University. How about them dogs?
Basketball, Kyle Roberts along heads Coach Brooks Store of the Lady Texters. Malcolm Butler and Talvin Hester will take over right at the noon hour after this. But we talked about last week, getting ready for this week, and so we want to let fans know too that this week is a $5 flash sale to get for Thursday night for the Middle Tennessee game. It's so important for students, and the students you get in with free with your IDs, and so we want people to come out and support this team and really pack. No reason not to be here. Come pack the tax. 6:30 on Thursday night. $5 tickets for everybody. This is a very, very important game, as we've only got a few conference games left, and at some point, the seeding will start to crystallize for our for the conference tournament, and so it's very important to come out and protect home court. We get the chance to do that actually 3 games in a row. Between Thursday night, Saturday, and then next Thursday night at home for Sam Houston as well. And so, Coach, in the time that we have left, I would love for you to talk a little bit about the 2 young ladies that we were able to sign in the early period. Jaden Terry and Hillary Dawson will be Lady Texters next year. And just reading what we've seen so far, these are 2 outstanding young women that will come onto this team with a freshman team now that's going to be more seasoned, getting ready for next year.
Yeah, I think they're, number one, they're great fits in terms of locker room and how we want to play as far as energy and effort and just togetherness. And I think they're going to be great teammates from that respect. They're very talented individuals as well. Hillary actually in playoffs right now. They're in their postseason, Jaden as well. But just I think going to be tremendous additions to our group. You start with perimeter with Jaden, just the ability to shoot the 3, to get by somebody in transition, to play in the open floor, get by somebody in the half court, score in and around the paint. I think she sees things well. Just an exciting guard. We're going to lose Robin Lee and Autumn Smith and Sydney Thomas, and so those are 3 seniors that we'll honor later this week and at Senior Day on Saturday. But excited about what she's going to bring to the table as far as her skill set, but who she is as a person as well. And then Hillary, an athletic forward that can stretch the defense and shoot the 3. She can run the floor really well.
6'3" too.
Yeah, I think she's long, she's athletic. Her mom actually played Scott Recruiter mom at North Texas when he was there.
Oh, wow.
She played at North Texas. So great young woman. I think they're both, just super solid people. But Hillary can do a number of things offensively, and I think she's going to continue to get better and better. And she can block shots. She can guard, I think, get down and guard on the perimeter. She can guard on the interior. She can guard some of these athletic fours in our league. So we're very excited about both of those young ladies and their families that are joining our program.
Coach, this is your 9th season as head coach of this program, and I can only imagine that recruiting back in 2016 compared to 2025, like, it is drastically different.
Yeah, recruiting in 2023 is different than what
Right.
it is now. You know, it's where we are, and we've all talked about it a lot. And you know, it's not that you just have to be able to adjust and adapt. It's no longer you know in the past we would recruit and you go, okay, you're going to have this player for 3-4 years. We're going to
Develop, right.
You know, these 2 years with this one, and we're going to have this one come in, and so she's going to learn and if she beats this one out, that's fine, because there's going to be great competition, and either way, we're going to have someone ready to go. And, you know, you're year to year. And, you know, for me, it's hard just because you want to build those relationships and you want to watch young women grow. And we're still trying to impact as much as we can, but in all actuality and reality, like, you don't know how long you're going to have them. You're going to have them for a year, you're going to have them for 2 years, you're going to have them for 4. You know, we've been fortunate the last 3 years to have, you know, a 5th year each of those years. And that's been a lot of fun to be able to coach and watch a Kiana Walker, an Anna Lar, Robin Lee, watch them all grow through that time. And I think that's, you know, from the old school, can I say that? That's old
Seasoned school.
Seasoned
Yeah.
school. Excuse me, I'm not that old. You want to be able to watch that development. I think the maturation process of, there was a reason why, and I'm not even getting into the financial aspects of it, but there's a reason why things were set up from a collegial standpoint of the growth and maturation and development. And we're on a campus of higher education, higher learning. Our jobs are not just to watch them become better basketball players. It's teaching them the life skills and having to understand how you grow and develop as a human and as a person, how you handle some adversity, how you handle some stress, helping give them some tools to deal with those things. And I think we're missing the boat with that. And I think that, you know, that's an adjustment that we're all trying to make as we go through this. And yes, we are trying to put together the best basketball team that we can each year. But a lot of times you've got to be able to have some consistency, and I'm not sure that we're going to see that.
It's very difficult.
Look at college football, you know, and it's basically, you know, when you're looking at the COP, it's, you know, who has the biggest salary cap and how can they manage that money to perfection to get the right people. And
Right.
if you invest the money in the wrong people, then you're not going to be successful. And so for us, we're going to stick to our values of who we are and how we want to approach that. But we've had to change some things, and we will continue to adapt and adjust as we go, even as we, you know, approach this new house settlement coming down in April. So it'll be.
That's going to be here before we know it,
I think
too.
the hard part too, though, is that when you feel like you get into a rhythm of how you do it, it's constantly changing. So you have a plan and you plan ahead, and those things, you know, evolve, but then it changes 6 times before you even get to execute the plan. And so I think that's the hard part, the difficult part, and that's not griping. That's just you're constantly trying to maneuver and manipulate and adjust, all the while trying to hone in on and invest on the people that you have here, because our biggest resources are current people, and our most important recruits are current people, and how we're doing that daily is really, really important. And so I think it's you know, number one priority is the group that we have here, and I think we've got a great group, and as we continue to grow and we keep them together, I think that's huge. But in reality, you're going to have some turnover, you're going to have some change, and how do you manage that, and how do you find a way to add the right pieces to the
Right.
puzzle?
Well, and one of the things I loved in both of their statements from the release, they were both just very expressive about how much they love the atmosphere here. Like, they came to visit, and they clearly saw that this is a great place to be. And, you know, like, spoiler, we're not in a university that has like a completely unexhaustible amount of money. So like you have to make up for that in other ways, and having a culture, having a good locker room, and being intentional about the people that you're surrounding these kids with. That's what's really going to matter for some of the schools that just don't have the same resources as the Power Four.
Yeah, and you can look at it in a very short-sighted view of going, oh, well, I'm going to chase this little bit of money here. It's not life-changing money. It's not generational money. I can chase that, or I can go somewhere where I'm going to be valued and I'm going to be developed and I'm going to have a greater future earning potential because of how I've set myself up.
Yes.
And, I just, and a lot of it goes down to, who's in their ear, who they're listening to, and all those things. And so much of that is out of our control.
Right. Yeah, and I'm sure social media just exacerbates that, So we
Yeah,
could spend 30 minutes talking about that
It is what
itself.
it is. I'm going to focus my energy on the things that I can control,
Yes.
and that's loving and serving our people well. And sometimes that means telling the truth and the hard truth, and sometimes that's hard to hear. Like, we weren't very good last week. We didn't compete in the ways that we needed to in certain areas, and some people don't want to hear that. But we also have to acknowledge that about ourselves and go, you know what? If I really love you, I'm going to be truthful and honest, and we're going to hold you accountable, and we're going to be disciplined, and it's going to pay off in the long run. And if you go anywhere, like, they're going to tell you the same thing. They're
Coach,
part of it.
what are some of the things that are the same? You were a student athlete. You were recruited. What are some of the things that were similar when you were recruited that you're still doing today?
Well, I think, because I came here, and you use some of those things of the people, and you talk about Ruston and the community and how it supports our students and our student athletes, and it's a college town, a true college town where Louisiana Tech is important, and I think it's ingrained in our community. And I've seen the relationships through the years. I experienced it as a student athlete. I saw it as an assistant coach, and now I see it as a head coach at 3 different times in my life. And obviously a student athlete, young, married, no children, married with children, you see different phases of that and through a different lens. But those things are constant. It's a great place. It's a great place, now for me to raise a family, but it's a great place for these young people to be loved, to be supported, to be encouraged, to be challenged. Academically, I think we've got incredible opportunities for our young people to study and do what they're passionate about, and really explore and expand in that. And then I think you've got opportunities to go compete at a high level athletically as well. And so, those are the things that we do. A lot of other things have changed, from rules to what we're allowed to do now that we couldn't do then.
Mm-hmm.
So many of those things have changed, but I think you got to go back to the core of what we stand for here, and everybody talks about the Tech family and those things, but when you experience it, it's real and it's true.
Very well said. Graphic Packaging International has been a longtime partner of Tech Athletics. Graphic Packaging crafts innovative packaging solutions that meet the needs of your market and resonate with your consumers. Their diverse portfolio caters to every need, from efficiency to design. Visit graphicpkg.com, and you can learn more about Graphic Packaging International, official partner of Tech Athletics. Thursday night, 6:30 p.m., $5 flash sale. Students get in for free. Let's pack the tack. Let's take on Middle Tennessee. Let's show them what's up. And then on Saturday, 3 o'clock, we'll be taking on Western Kentucky. Both of those critical home games that we need some good support for.
Huge games. I can't stress you enough. Students, we need you out there Thursday night, Saturday. We need you in the stands. It's free. Let's go. Be there for this group. They've been really, really fun to watch at home, and we need a great week this week.
Head Coach Brooks Store, thanks as always. And when we come back, Malcolm Butler will have Talvin Hester with the Bulldogs. This is Inside Tech Basketball on the La Tech Sports Network from Learfield.
Alabama.
Oh, goodness! The lob at the other end and the flush.
Don't miss your opportunity to witness one of the most competitive basketball tournaments in the country from March 11th through the 15th at Probst Arena.
That was big time.
And dunks it down.
Tickets are on sale now at conferenceusa.com/Rocket City Hoops.
Dogs. Now, how did these beautiful creatures become man's best friend? Well, easy. They're funny, entertaining, energetic, determined, right, regal, friendly, and above all else, dogs are loyal. Louisiana Tech University. How about them dogs?
Coach, we talked last week at this time. You said, obviously this was a big week coming up. You felt like there was going to be a lot of movement. The conference standings were really jam-packed, and in a way they still are. When you look at, there's only, 2 or 3 games in the loss column separating, second place from, you go all the way down to 8th place. Your basketball team has been really good at home this year. I hadn't lost in conference play at home, only 1 loss all year at home. Had 2 really good teams coming in, Jacksonville State, who's in first place in Conference USA, and Kennesaw State, who we knew was a big physical team. And started Thursday night, and Kennesaw State came in. You really got to give them a lot of credit. I thought they played extremely hard. I thought they played extremely well. And Louisiana Tech, for really the first time since maybe the Southern game, back in November, just wasn't able to match that intensity. What did you see Thursday night?
No doubt. I think that was the key. Even going back to what you said, the Southern game, I don't think we came with the energy and effort. And, I told the guys all year, I take blame for the Southern game because we played 4 games that week. And that was a game scheduled after we had played 3 tough road games and had travel. But this one was a game we had time to prepare for. And so to come out with a lack of effort, a lack of focus, a lack of on the Thursday game is really disappointing. And so I was disappointed in myself for not being able to get them up, but also disappointed that we're not a super young team as far as age. Our backs against the wall, we were playing for something bigger than ourselves, and we didn't come out with energy, and that's unacceptable.
As a coach, did you get a feel during the week? Were you concerned going into Thursday night? Outside, you knew you were going to be playing a really good team.
Yeah, I think as a coach, you always stay on the edge a little bit. I was concerned at how practices went a couple of times. And so we just, I was worried about injuries, which that's probably my fault. And I just have to get back to being tough and bringing up that next man mentality, next man up mentality, because at the end of the day, when we have tough practices, we're really good. And we had a really tough practice in between the games, and I thought we played a lot better. We came with effort. I just thought at times in that game we were selfish. We didn't play together. And so, especially when we took big leads, we took a big lead, got up by 8 or 9, and then we just got selfish in between in that little stretch. And that's all it takes for a good team to come back and then get some confidence, and we gave them confidence.
Well, this team has obviously been beat up at times this year, and so I know from a coach's standpoint, sometimes it's a fine line you walk, right? I mean, you want to have a tough physical team, and you get that in practice, but at the same time, when you have 2 or 3 players out and they're nursing different injuries, you don't want anybody else to get hurt, and you're slim on numbers, so it's kind of a fine line you walk.
No, it is a fine line, but if you don't bring your toughness, you don't really have a chance. You're not giving yourself a chance to win, and so when you're walking that fine line, you got to err on the side of tough practices and training, and if you prepare and the games are harder than practice, you're going to be in trouble. But if you can make practice harder than the games, it gives you a chance.
Kennesaw State, who's Louisiana Tech played on Thursday, ranks in the top 20 in the country, and every rebounding statistic you can think of. They are a really good rebounding team. They won the rebounding battle that night by 10 over Louisiana Tech. What makes them such a good rebounding team?
They got size at multiple positions, and they're really, really physically gifted. But at the end of the day, when you come to rebounding, you just want to, and guys locking in on their job and going to get them. You know, we had rebound guy. We didn't have a guy with over 5 rebounds in that game, and that's disappointing for us. And I think that helped them rebound in that game. When you're not really ready to attack them physically, really ready to hit and be physical in that game, it favors them. And I didn't think we were very good in that game rebounding. I didn't think we were very good at create the physicality part of the game. I didn't think we were good with our effort.
Bulldogs lose that night 69-47. Offensively struggled as well that night to shoot the basketball, only 34%. This is a Louisiana Tech team that shoots about 48-49% on the season. Was it more what Kennesaw State was doing, or was it just not getting into the offensive executing, or was it just missing some open looks?
It was them scoring baskets. When you have to play against a set defense all night,
Yeah.
it's very hard on you. Like if you can't get stops and runouts and turnovers and things of that nature to get easy shots on the basket, then we had to grind out for every point we got. When you start having to grind out every point because you're not getting any stops, it's very hard. I mean, they scored 69 points. Us scored 47. Most of those 69 were them coming down, not only getting a shot, but getting their offensive rebound and a putback. Now we're taking the ball out of net, playing against a set 5, and that's very hard to do night in, night out. So we got to be better defensively so we can give ourselves a chance offensively.
It was a 6-point ball game with about 3.5 minutes to play before halftime. I think it was 26-20. And that last 3.5 minutes, they went on a 13-3 run, and all of a sudden that 6-point deficit turned into a 16-point deficit at halftime. Now, you still have 20 minutes of basketball left, but trying to come back from a 16-point deficit, even when you're at home against a good team who plays good defense, is tough to do. I thought that 3.5-minute stretch was really the key moment in that ball game.
No, it was. It was a key moment. I don't know if you remember the Liberty game at home. We went up big against Liberty at home, but we let them go on this run late in the half, and we were lucky to be able to come from back in the second half, and we fought. But when you start putting yourself in those situations, it's why we talked about us being a second half team this year. I said it's like the gift and the curse compliment. It's a compliment because in the second half, you don't always want to be down because eventually you're not going to be able to come back from those games every time you get down in the second half. But it's the same with giving people big leads. When you give people big leads constantly, at some point it's going to come bite you in the business that night.
You know, we talked about it early in the year. We knew it when it happened, the injury to Will Jefferson, the third game of the year. He's your big physical forward player. You don't have another guy like that on the team. And when you look across Conference USA, it seems like almost every one of these Conference USA teams has a big physical forward player. And I think we've seen it in games where they realize there's a little bit of a mismatch in that area, and they'll get the ball in that guy's hands, and they'll just try to back down Louisiana Tech.
No doubt. It has been the thing. This is a 4-man's league. This is a league where every 4-man is physical. They're gifted, and we know that because we had Isaiah Crawford for a long time. We had the best 4-man in the league for a long time, which helped us produce a lot of wins. And so we got to find a way. There's no excuses that we don't have them. We got to have that next man up mentality, and we got to go fight. And we have what we have right now. And we got to be creative as coaches and find scenarios to put our guys in situations to be successful because we know Will's not coming back. He's not going to magically appear next week. But we also have to be smarter in the way we play and be able to use the things that we can use to counter them when we get those opportunities.
Well, Isaiah was there Saturday night, NBA All-Star break. It was good to see his smiling face. I asked him if he would suit up for us, but we thought that may be against NCAA rules. But it was good to see Isaiah back in Ruston.
No, it was great to see him. He's in the office right now, just sitting there hanging around. And you know, I laugh with all the guys that return. They all say when they're in school, "Oh, I'll never come back here. This will be the last time you guys see me." And it doesn't even take 6 to 7 months, and they're back and they're enjoying themselves and seeing all the people that they loved. And you know, it becomes a home away from home. You spent 5 years here as Isaiah Crawford. This is the only other place you know that feels like home.
I know he got called up and has gotten to play a couple NBA games. I don't know exactly why, if there was an injury, and that's why he got called up. But is he still up, or is he back in the G League?
You know, he was explaining to me that his situation is that it's day to day. So he'll play as much as he can because he's a starter on their G League team. But there's been times there've been road trips, and they call him and text him on the road trip and say, "You have a flight in the morning. You got to get to Minnesota." So they'll book his flight and have to be with the regular team. I think it's just a grooming thing with him. He's on a two-way. So it's them trying to get him acclimated to how they do things, but yet grow him in the G League at the same time.
Oh, great for him. You come back on Saturday. You mentioned a minute ago, played much better Saturday against a really good Jacksonville State team in first place in Conference USA right now at 10-3. These two teams had played a 2-point game earlier in January in Jacksonville that was decided basically on the last play of the game. Bulldogs had an open look from 3, unable to knock it down, and came away with a loss. Another 2-point game on Saturday, and it was a basketball game that Louisiana Tech led by 3 at the half. And I thought early in the second half, Jacksonville State came out and played really well, was able to take the lead, push it out to as many as 10 with about, 4 minutes to play in the ball game. Bulldogs didn't give up, had a desperation 3 at the buzzer that could have won it from about half court. But what did you like about your team in that game that you didn't see Thursday night?
No, I thought, we actually played like our back was against the wall, and we had to come out with energy and effort. And I thought we did that. I think in that game, it was just the intellectual part of the game. We sent them to the free throw line 30 times. Even at the end of the game, when we got it to 1 point, I think we had 35 seconds. It's a 1-point game, and we fouled immediately, and we didn't need to foul at that point. All we had to do is, be safe, make them take a shot, miss it, or wait and see if we can get a turnover or something of that nature, or get a steal in our press. But we fouled immediately, and that wasn't intentional. And then they got the ball, made 2 free throws, and we missed a free throw, so it made it a 4-point game. We hit a 3. But we can't put a team. If you look at the stats, we outshot them from the field. We outshot them from 3. We had more assists than they had, more steals than they had, but we can't put a team. We out-rebound them. Can't put a team on the line 30 times and expect to win a basketball game.
And they're a really good free throw shooting team. I think they shoot at about a 77% clip. They hit 26 of 30 in that ball game. And, down the stretch when you were fouling, trying to get back in it, they didn't miss until there was 3.2 seconds left. Pierre, who scored 34 points, he was outstanding that night. Finally missed the second one. You get the rebound, and you talked about it with us on the radio afterwards. You run these types of situational things in practice all the time. I think you said that you guys say you got 1 second per action, so per dribble, per pass, whatever. And Caden Cooper gets the rebound, and he probably could have made an outlet pass to somebody. What would you have liked to have seen in that situation?
That's to trust our training, to be really honest. Well, he got the rebound. The first thing he did was look at the clock. You should have known what was on the clock before you got on the free throw line. And so that's not understanding, and that's not being aware, and that's not playing with your mind. The next thing was there was 2 guys on him when he got the rebound to stop the ball, and there was 2 people he could have outlet to. So if you catch the ball on the rebound and outlet it, that's 1 second. Then we would have somebody else be able to take 1 dribble, and 1 dribble can take you across half court and maybe get a better look. Because then you need a second to shoot the ball. And so I just think that we executed that well, but I was disappointed too that I felt like we fouled with 6 seconds on the clock, but we didn't get the call, and then it ran down to 3 seconds. And that changes the game. 6 seconds to get the ball out on the miss, and 3 seconds is completely different, but that's another story. But we got to be able to trust our training, and as coaches, what you try to do is train them to the point where you don't have to coach real time all the time. Coach in-game plays all the time. They can go out there and trust their training. That's what we got to get to.
Well, and there's some elite scorers in this league, especially at the guard position. Jerron Pierre Jr. is one of them. And he had one of those nights on Saturday, or one of those afternoons on Saturday, 10 of 20 from the field. He hit 5 threes. He was 9 of 11 from the free throw line. I thought Louisiana Tech, the first time these 2 teams played, did a really good job on him and made it difficult. I thought he was phenomenal on Saturday. How much of it was him, and how much of it was maybe not doing as good a job defensively?
I think a little of both. There were times where we gave, I think the first 3 he hit was us blowing the coverage. And then he hit really 2 tough ones, and then the second 2 he hit was us blowing coverages. But also, at the end of the day, like one person usually can't beat you. We put him on the line 11 times. That was one of the issues, and then 2 of those were late clock, late game. But the other thing is we held everybody else to 3 shot makes or less.
Yeah.
That gives you a chance to win if we don't send people to the free throw line. And so again, he was scoring, and we waited till late in the game to adjust. I didn't want to adjust too early, and then they adjust. So we adjusted, and then late clock, I think the last 7 minutes, we didn't give them but 1 field goal, or no field goals the last 7 minutes. It might have been no field goals the last 7, 1 the last 9, or something like that. So our defense was actually working, but we can't put people on the free throw line consistently if we want to win games, especially when we were scoring the ball on us.
Bulldogs fall 70-68 on Saturday. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the Conference USA standings, talk a little bit about this week's upcoming road trip. That's all coming up. You're listening to Inside Tech Basketball on the La Tech Sports Network from Learfield.
Basketball championships are coming back to Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, goodness! The lob at the other end and the flush.
Don't miss your opportunity to witness one of the most competitive basketball tournaments in the country from March 11th through the 15th at Probst Arena.
That was big time.
And dunks it down.
Tickets are on sale now at conferenceusa.com/Rocket City Hoops.
Dogs. Now, how did these beautiful creatures become man's best friend? Well, easy. They're funny, entertaining, energetic, determined, right, regal, friendly, and above all else, dogs are loyal. Louisiana Tech University. How about them dogs?
Bobby here at the Louisiana Tech Student Center. Just a reminder that Louisiana Tech Athletics is proud to call these businesses their home team partners. If you're wanting to build your dream home, contact Herd Construction. Contact Bayou Overhead Door to find the perfect garage door for all your roofing needs. Call Herd Roofing. Work with the team that supports our team. Herd Construction, Bayou Overhead Door, and Herd Roofing, proud partners of Louisiana Tech Athletics and members of the La Tech home team. Having 5 conference games remaining before we get to the conference tournament in Huntsville, Alabama in March. Currently at 6 and 7. It's an unbalanced schedule right now. Some teams have played 13 games, some have played 12. So if you look at it, you're in 7th right now, but that's because New Mexico State's played 1 less game than you. But long story short, we've talked about it. You want to finish as high as you can. That's the obvious statement, but you really want to finish in those top 6 because 7 through 10 have to play an extra game at the conference tournament. So with 5 games left, 3 of those on the road, a lot of work still left for the Bulldogs.
No doubt. And at the end of the day, this stuff changes day to day, week to week. I really want to focus on the next game because we have to play good in our next game before we start looking ahead. It's going to be a daunting task. I don't care what seed you are in this tournament to win it. I think the teams are so good. There's so much parity. There's so many good players. To go on a neutral court where everybody is neutral, there's nobody's home court, it's going to be a daunting task. So we just want to lock in on Middle Tennessee, prepare for them, and then after we wrap that up, get ready for West Kentucky, and then we'll reevaluate after that week.
I think the good news is there's not like there's one dominant team, right? I mean, there's not one team in this league that is heads and tails above everybody else. So I think it doesn't matter where you're seated. I do think, obviously, it's a disadvantage if you finish 7 through 10 and you have to play that extra day. But disadvantage in the long run, maybe trying to win an extra game. But the good news is it doesn't matter if you finish 5th, 6th, wherever. I think anybody in this league at this point could win the tournament.
I'm mixed feelings about the extra game. I think it hurts you in the championship situation
Right.
because your legs the last day.
Yes.
But sometimes I've seen it help you in the early rounds because you get to play in the arena and get some momentum if you win it before. When I was in the WAC at San Jose State, we were in the extra game and then we had the double bye, and so Utah State came in for the semifinals, and we got it rolling and won 3 straight. We took them to the buzzer, and I think after that they switched the format because it was like we had played in the arena, we won 2 tough games in the arena. They hadn't played; they just traveled in, and we kind of had it rolling. So at the end of the day, we just want to finish as high as we can finish. We want to fight to the end, and then whatever seed we are at the end of the day, we'll go put a game plan together to win a game. And once you win that one, you can worry about it.
Well, it starts Thursday night. That's the next one, the one you're focused on. We travel to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, to take on Middle Tennessee. That's a team that Louisiana Tech beat in a really competitive game at the Thomas Assembly Center a few weeks ago. Middle Tennessee has some really good guards. They've got a post player inside that is really good. Now, Daniel Bacho outplayed it big time when they came to Ruston, but Murfreesboro, always a difficult place to go play.
No, it's on the road. We've had our difficulties there, so trust me, we won't be taking them lightly. We'll have some tough practices this week. We have to lock in, try to implement some things that will help us against them that we can see that we felt could have helped us the first time around, and watch our film and see where we can clean up some of our mistakes. But that's going to be a tough game. Like their players are going to shoot the ball better at home, and just statistically, that's how it works. Our only chance is to go in with the right attitudes and focus and effort. And if we do, we're a good team. We'll give ourselves a chance. But if we don't go in focus, it could be a long night.
Then you turn around on Saturday. You got another night tip-off, 7 o'clock on Saturday night against a Western Kentucky team that right now is a half game behind Louisiana Tech in the conference standings. But again, I think that tells you how good this conference is, because Western Kentucky's got a really good team. And just like Louisiana Tech, and those 2 teams right now sitting in 7th and 8th place in this league. And EA Diddle Arena may be one of my favorite places in Conference USA to go. It's a tough place to go, but I've always enjoyed it. I've always thought that they've got a very good fan base there that really supports their program.
No, I agree. I mean, it's one of those places that you know you're in college basketball there. You know that you're going, to play a tough game. You know it's going to be a tough opponent. You know their fans are going to be on you. If I was a player, these would be the games that I live for. These would be the ones that I want to play in. And so we'll try to focus on Middle Tennessee, and then when we get to Western Kentucky, we'll give it everything we have. And those Saturday games are really, really night down drag outs, because you only get 1 day of prep. And it's mental. It's mental. The team that thinks they're tired, the team probably going to lose the game. The team that comes with energy and effort and fights will have a chance to win.
You have 3 regular season weeks left, 5 total games. What schematically on the court are you guys focusing on trying to improve?
Limiting our turnovers. I think that's a little bit of our defensive struggles too. When we've been good defensively, we've still been playing at like 1 point per possession. Our goal is 0.9 points. But when you give teams, 6, 7 chances to run out and just get layups in the open court, those count against your points per possession too, and that has hurt us. Continuing to be a better rebounding team. Caden Cooper was electric rebounding the other night, but I felt like he didn't have anybody help him come to the party. And we have to get to the point where we have 2 and 3 and 4 guys rebounding the ball well. I think that's another emphasis. And then continuing to build our defense. I always say that we're nowhere near where we're supposed to be defensively. Continue to build that, and grow it, and communicate to where we can just win 2 or 3 more possessions a game. I think that'll be enough.
Graphic Packaging International has been a long-time partner of Louisiana Tech Athletics. Graphic Packaging crafts innovative packaging solutions that meet the needs of your market and resonate with your consumers. Their diverse portfolio caters to every need, from efficiency to design. Visit graphicpkg.com to learn more about Graphic Packaging International, official partner of Louisiana Tech Athletics. We're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. You're listening to Inside Tech Basketball on the La Tech Sports Network from Learfield. Side Tech basketball, Malcolm Butler with Talman Hester, and Talman, we just got a couple more minutes left here. You've gone with some different lineups here in the last couple of weeks. Are you kind of at that point where you're just doing your starting lineups based off of matchups, or are you still searching for what you feel like is the right combination?
No, it was never off matchups. It was team things, and it was trying to find guys who are being consistent, you know. And so the first one was a team thing, a team issue that we had, and we kind of solved that and corrected that. And we had guys step up in that situation. And then the next one is just, we've had guys that just haven't been, produced like we need them to in certain positions. And so we got to find help. We're losing some of our games by 2 and 3 and 4 points. And so we got to find production and trying to find out who the next person that can step up within the concept of what we do and maybe give another guy another role. Maybe he's more comfortable in another role to be able to help us in another way. But we're not. I don't look to switch it often. If you notice, I've been switching for a lot of games. I think Will is the only switch other than injuries. But we'll have some consistency in that area.
Well, you got 2 big ones on the road this week. We wish you and the Bulldogs the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
I want to thank Coach Brooks Store and Kyle Roberts for their time today, talking Lady Texter Hoops. Also want to thank Kane McGuire and Kevin Alvarez, our strategic communications specialists. And I want to thank our engineer, John Tabor, back at the studio. Just a reminder, the Bulldogs and Middle Tennessee Thursday at 8 p.m. from the Murphy Center. Well, that'll just about do it for today's edition of Inside Tech Basketball. For Talman Hester, I'm Malcolm Butler saying so long, everybody.